COVID-19 pandemic surely posed threat in the lives of all the people and brought alterations in all the sectors in our country, especially the Department of Education. Good day, everyone. I am Mr. Jefjef J. Domingo, Teacher 3 from Lagundi CCL National High School, DepEd Rizal, Morong Sub-Office. And I will be presenting my research titled Working While Learning, Lived Experiences of Working Students During Distance Learning. This study employed qualitative research design, which Phenomenological Method of Inquiry was used. 10 working students served as the respondents. It was found out that financial support and intrinsic motivation drove them to work while studying. Too many activities, time constraint, and lack of energy were some of their major limitations, while good time management and self-reflection were their best ways to cope with these problems. To use wisely of their time and to be committed and disciplined were the common suggestions of the respondents to other working students like them. Project Growth, which is giving remediation and opportunities to working students, is the output of this study. As a global crisis, the novel coronavirus or COVID-19 has undoubtedly brought huge unprecedented interference in the educational landscape all over the world. Schools closed their gates and face-to-face interactions were prohibited. When everyone feels its impact, the education sector has no exemption. Alterations in the delivery of learning have been implemented. The current COVID-19 crisis has obligated most education systems to adopt alternatives to face-to-face teaching and learning. Many education systems move activities at home to allow instructions to continue despite the school closures. The most significant consequence seems to be that the temporary suspension of class activities has placed students, especially those working and less privileged students, in an entirely new condition. Working students felt this with no full understanding of how long the impact would last. The immediate impact of this will have on their everyday lives or expenses or other financial burdens and definitely on their academic performance. Working students or working while studying is not an easy thing, especially for students who work for more hours a week while adapting to the new environment and new modalities in our education system. It is very struggling circumstances where they need to balance time between studies and work. DepEd Order Number 8, Series of 2020, titled Guidelines on Enrollment for School Year 2020-2021 in the Context of the Public Health Emergency due to COVID-19, stated that all learners who elect to enroll in public schools nationwide must be accepted and enrolled upon compliance with DepEd Order Number 03, Series of 2018. Also, in accordance to the 1987 Constitution, Article Number 4, Section 1, which stipulated that the state shall protect and promote the right of all the citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all, which means that during this school year, all the learners, despite their conditions, despite their status, must be accepted and must be enrolled. In Lagundi CCL National High School, the prevailing effects of the unseen enemy were greatly felt in the performances of the students, particularly those who are working. These learners manifested poor results in their academic as reflected in their incomplete outputs, in their different subjects to low grades. Likewise, their participation in learning activities as shown in their attendance during the retrieval and distribution of the self-learning modules revealed the limitations they experience amid the modular distance learning. Because of this scenario, the researcher opted to investigate and explore the lived experiences of grade 10 students who have to work while they are dealing with their home-based studies. The result of this undertaking would serve as vital basis in the implementation of school-based program that will greatly aid these learners in order for them to continuously receive quality education despite their status, despite their conditions, and despite the challenges they encounter because of this current situation. To fully realize the purpose of this study, the researcher answered the following questions. First, how do student respondents perceive studying while working? Second, what are the limitations of the students when studying while working, and how do they overcome the challenges? Third, what are the suggestions of the student respondents to other students who are also working while they are studying? Fourth, what are the recommendations of working students to school considering the situation of the students like them? And the last one, what program can be implemented by the school to address the gaps experienced by the working students? For methodology, purposive sampling technique was used. Purposive sampling technique refers to a group of non-probability sampling techniques in which units are selected because they have characteristics that the researcher needs in his sample. In other words, the units or the respondents were selected on purpose in this kind of technique. And in this study, the student respondents were chosen by the researcher since they were his students and he knew that they would be able to provide significant information needed in this paper. Also, this research study employed the qualitative research design using the Phenomenological Method of Inquiry, in which face-to-face individual semi-structured interviews were used to gather the necessary data. According to Shin 2011, a phenomenological method provides an opportunity for systematic reflection on the learning experiences which can provide the researcher with insights to understand the phenomena of education by maintaining a view of pedagogy as an expression of the whole and a view of experiential situation of real pedagogic acting. Face-to-face individual interview, which is semi-structured, is a qualitative research method that combines a predetermined set of open questions, these questions that prompt discussion with the opportunity for the researcher to explore particular themes or responses further. A semi-structured interview is used or was used in this qualitative study in which it gave researchers an opportunity to clarify pertinent issues and questions that occurred during the interviewing process. This type of interview also allowed the researcher to read the nonverbal communication and reaction which is necessary for the data analysis. The interviewing process was audio taped and later transcribed. Let us now proceed to the results and discussion. Research question number 1. How do student respondents perceive studying while working? This research problem tried to explore the insights of the student respondents with regard to studying while working. As reflected on their answers, it can be drawn that financial support and intrinsic motivation are the common reasons why they are studying while working. Likewise, it can be inferred